All right, guys, we're going to do another Turning Down the Rabbit Hole tonight, and I'm joined by two very intelligent men and myself. We got Cory, we got Collin, and then me, Cody. So it's the three C's. You know, we're not the, what was it? Anyways, I could have gone. But yeah, and the topic we were talking about in the pre show information was what was that you brought up, Collin?
So, a baseline that I always like to, when I'm starting to get deeper into a conversation with people or make new friends, is eventually the question comes up, what is your perception of reality? And obviously that's a very loaded, open-ended question, but it's a very interesting one to see what sparks up in the other person's mind or perception. And then that tends to open up new levels of understanding within each other. If the person, because the thing is, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And it's like, "You're queer," like it's a gay question, and then it just like, "Okay, I know who you are, bye," or "Oh, okay, dude, here, cheers, bye," whatever.
I agree with you. That is kind
but
of a happy question.
I get that, yeah, and that's fine. It's like, yeah,
Sorry.
and
And it also depends on who you're talking to, right? If they have the capacity to go deep, or they have the ability
yeah, I
at that
just go up
moment
to
to have the
strangers. I'm like,
bandwidth.
"What's real?" And so that's a whole different thing. So yeah,
Here's
100%.
you want the red pill or the blue pill?
You aren't the red or the blue.
Shrooms?
Which
Are we doing
one?
shrooms at this point?
We are the shrooms. Oh,
Yes.
I'm just kidding. All right, go ahead. Anyway,
But
Cory, what is reality?
reality, I think, is also based on where you're at in life. Because when you're talking to a toddler, the reality is mom and dad and that toy that he likes or she likes. You get into adolescent, teenage, all that kind of stuff. They start switching and changing. You get to your 20s and 30s. That reality also is morphing still, especially in your 30s. You have more responsibilities. And as you go through life and as life changes, I think that perception changes into the point where you have end of life. Now, that perception of reality, some people call it a thin space where they are both here and also in the next world. Some people like to call it heaven or one foot in the grave, whatever they want to call it. And their
I had a
perception of
friend that
reality
had one.
changes.
I had a friend that had one foot in the grave.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
Which foot was it? Left or right?
it was his right foot.
Why was that?
Diabetes.
Oh, you didn't have a left foot? Got cut off?
No, he had a right.
Amputated?
His right foot got cut off.
Oh, okay. So most of his right foot was already on the other side.
Thus- So he got lost it just above the ankle, and then I asked him what was it like to have one foot in the grave. So
That went dark. So, and I think reality a lot of time is connected to who you are as an individual and what's around you and how you perceive yourself. You can go all the way down to the philosophical and all that kind of stuff, but it all depends on what stage you are in life. So, Colin, you're in a different stage in your life than Cody and I. You're in your 30s, and so your perception of reality might be a little bit different than Cody, than me, than your great uncles that are like in their 70s, 80s, where their perception of reality is starting to switch, to morph a little bit.
Yeah, it's I guess to it be 100% agree with what you said, and a part of the trick is, once you start getting into certain ages or different archetypes of being, like you know, you're a soldier, you tend to have different perceptions. You're a builder, you have different perceptions. You're a cleric, you're a, you know, I'm thinking D and
Father.
D roles now here. Yeah, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, no. I'm 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 thinking like you know, like, oh, I'm a wizard or a sage or a warrior or a barbarian
Dungeons
or,
and
you know, like
Dragons.
Diablo. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
Dungeons and
what's your class? You know, that plays into it. Your what are your initial stats that you're born with? You know, what's your background? What's your history? What's all those things? Your, you know, what the Indians would call your dharma. It's kind of what your duty, your destiny
Well,
of what you're born into becomes a part of who you are in your current state. But I had more, but go ahead. What do you got?
well, I would say that I kind of agree with along the lines of what Corey was saying. It depends on where you're at. Your reality when you're in grade school is school and grades. That's your reality every day. You get up and go, and that's your job. And then in the 20s, for me, I took a different, darker path, I guess. I was screwing off most of the time. I'd make good money and go and play around. And I'm not saying like sexually. I mean, just go and play around. Paintball, all that stuff. And then I went to Alaska and explored all this stuff and had to soil my wild oats. And then I wasn't ready to move into the next stage. What's that?
Soil your wild oats instead of sowing
Hey,
your
this
wild
is
oats.
Poe. This is Poe. Hey, don't, Corey. Just let this be
That's
poetic.
great.
It's fine.
That's
It's
great.
beautiful. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, what?
yeah.
So I said,
Yeah, as you're talking about it, it makes sense. You're so soiling it.
It honestly
Going on
works.
these
Like,
things.
I didn't want to
Yeah,
correct. I'm like, you're right. Like,
that's
sure,
awesome.
why not?
Okay.
It's actually better. Like,
Yeah, it
Well, I was
is.
saying
It is.
soiling as in like planning your stuff and getting rid of it is what I've always thought of as it.
Okay, sure. That's not what everyone else thinks,
Like
but we'll go with it.
that's what I've always thought it meant. It's like grounding yourself and getting rid of the crap, you know.
yeah,
soil.
no, you
Yeah,
were right.
yeah.
I was wrong. You're 100% right. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, that's a
Keep
way
going.
better way of looking at it. I've just never heard that before, but I love that. I'll use that. I'm lifting that from you. So,
I don't know. It's just something I've always said. But anyways, and then I always thought I was ready to move on to the mature life of being a dad and an adult. And I wasn't. I was in play and screw around mode still, and then got married, and the prospect of hurting another person changed that. And then the reality of life came to a real head when my sister died, and then you realize everything collapses, and the reality of how fragile reality really is, and how instantaneously it can change, just gone in an instant. Everything is completely from where it was to this. The reality has shifted 180 degrees, and you know. That was in 2015. You know, one day you're planning, literally, one day we're planning for Christmas, and the next that, you know, on the 23rd of December, me and my sister on the phone planning for Christmas, and 2 hours later, I'm getting a phone call that she's passed away. And the 24th of December, I'm at a funeral home, getting. Planning for where that I never even thought of what you would have to do with a body when it dies, and you're walking through all this stuff and how much money and I was a mortician's assistant. I worked at a mortuary, but I never thought about that. It was just the job. And then you when your reality collapses completely, then you start taking a different look at what really is important and what are you missing and what are you needing to, what is really important. And my realization was is time is not infinite for me. And the reality of that is, it isn't. There is a there's a number of days that we have on this planet. We need to make the most of it. And then I learned real quick to not waste my time with crap or for drama and all that other stuff. Got rid of all the drama. Um,
You're married,
read
right?
that book. Well, I have drama because I'm married. But you reassess the people that are really important is what I'm getting at, and if they're causing
Yeah.
you lots of problems, you like where are their rankings in this whole entire situation. And then I led down the path that my kids are the most important things in my life. Well, my wife, my kids, um, and I completely gave up everything for my children. My whole life, the way it was, no longer exists. So reality is completely different today than it was 2 years ago for me when I was a full-time truck driver driving all over the country. And then I had this little bundle of joy come in, and then I started calculating how many days I missed of my young daughters. Of Kylie, the first 5 years I was only home 300 days in her first 5 years of life. And then you realize that when you see an older child and a younger child, that the special moments of that young child is not infinite either. Nothing is infinite. It all changes. So
If
reality
anything, from
is,
their perception, it's accelerated. It's really fast, or it's longer, I should say. A child's day is way longer than it is for us. They're taking in everything. It's almost double.
uh-oh,
Yeah, it is.
we lost
Yeah,
Colin.
and this reality of Colin is gone.
Yeah, he'll come back.
So, you know, it goes back to my point where as we mature and age and go through these life cycles, our perception of reality switches. You know, we always are center focused, right? Reality revolves around self, and reality is what we see and perceive from our own mind's eye. But yet, when we have things that intersect within our reality, like kids, wife, um, it enlarges it,
Yeah.
which is the canine animal kingdom. They don't have those abilities. This is strictly human possibility, unless we create an AI that does everything that Skynet predicted. Um, we are the only ones that really can have that ability to have perspective and be able to say, hey, this is reality. And when we look at things, depending on what's going on, we're looking at from our own reality, not from the group, or we can look outside of what everyone else is and see a larger reality of what's going on with people.
Hmm.
So uh, the question is a simple question. The answer has many facets to it. The ability to go in any direction depends on who you're talking to. And when you do that, and I think this is what Colin alludes to, is that when you talk to people and you engage them with what is their perception of reality and stuff, you know what's important to them, where they are in life, what they live for. You live for your kids. I live for my kids. I also live for myself because, pretty soon my kids are going to be out of the house and they're going to have their own lives. And I have to have my own life. And so my
Yeah.
perception of reality will change this fall when my daughter goes off. and in a couple of years my son goes off, and how I interact and that kind of stuff is going to change too.
Yeah. So your reality when they leave will be a different reality.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
the hard part about that situation is, as I've been reading about, is that when you live for your kids, then you got to figure out what the relationship is with you and your significant other, your wife, and reassess that whole entire thing. And like, because what is that? And that's a whole different thing. Colin,
Yeah.
can you hear
Yeah,
us?
no, I can hear you. There's some interference in the browser or something that keeps kicking me out. I'm gonna try to download another browser to use, and hopefully that'll strip
Are
whatever.
you using Chrome?
No, I'm using stupid Edge, and this is an old Office computer. I haven't downloaded any new browsers, and there's something wrong. So I'll try something else here.
Well, yeah.
I'll go as long
He's
as
on
I
the
can.
edge of reality right now.
Edge. What's Edge?
It's
He's
Microsoft.
on the edge of reality. Yeah,
Oh, Edge.
it's bad reality. Yeah. And so,
I'm always on the edge.
yes, you're edgy.
I got the gist of what most of you guys of what you were saying, even though I jumped out of there a few times. I'd like to, what I've been trying to do. So, and this sounds almost said promiscuous, pretentious. But
That's one of them $5 words, isn't it?
I've made a point with whenever I get an opportunity to travel, I do. Up until when I got married, obviously that's all over. Which honestly I'm happy with. I've seen enough. I've done enough. I've seen the world enough. I've been around. But my big question with other people, ever since I was a kid, I was always very conscious of this, paying attention to other people, no matter where I went, with the intention of, are you different than me? Like, are you actually some other person or entity? And my answer was always no. I could understand why everyone was the way they were once I understood their story. It was never like oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. I've never met one person I'm like, really? That's surprising. It may be surprising their initial story, but once you get into the roots of it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We didn't just get here. Like, there's no effect without a cause, right? And we put so much of our identity into the current formation that we are, that we lose sight of the bigger scope of what it is to be human. Sometimes, because we're very self-absorbed people, speaking as somebody who's incredibly self-absorbed.
I never noticed. You don't show it at all.
I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm self-absorbed. I can't tell. I don't know what I look like to other people. I don't really, because I don't know what you people, I don't even know, like, my disconnect was, I can see that we're all the same, but I don't know how people think, because people are, like, completely whacked, or really wise and smart, and know to not ask too many questions, and just keep their head down, until they end up at...
My wife wishes I wouldn't ask so many questions to the people around me. I'll tell you that right now.
It's not for a polite society, but that's what makes us Americans. Yeah, it makes us American. We don't care about authority and perception and what people think of us, supposedly. I don't know. That's what I always thought, and I just we've been running this human experiment for a long time. We have a lot of information now. This is like that apex, that point in human history where before you relied on family and tradition, and now through modernity, that's all been dissipated and scattered to the winds almost in many cases. And there's information overload coming in to the society that even the people that are like, well, I'm just going to stay out of it. I'm going to stay out of politics or stay out of how the world works or how things work. I'm going to focus on my family and focus on my community. And oh my God.
That's okay. We can still hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it.
He's gone.
No. There's a group called Butthole Surfers. Google it,
Okay.
and they have the Butthole Surfers. Yeah, just like I said it. And they have a song that the
It's a
tagline is
music song.
"We never." Yeah, it's a music group. They have a tag in one of their songs is "We don't know, we can't see each other, see someone else from, see yourself from someone else's eyes." I heard that a couple of years ago, and that was a killer statement because I can't look through Cody's eyes and see how I'm acting and all that kind of stuff. And that's why feedback is so good, right? It is the actual
Well,
group.
that's
You
the
looked it up,
problem.
didn't you? You looked up that group,
Well,
didn't
that's the
you?
problem. Yeah, I'm like butthole surfers. There you go.
Yep, it's an actual group. And
Wow. Yeah.
would we be different if we were able to do that? See ourselves through someone else's eyes? How would that change us? How would that um, make us better or worse? Or could we handle that reality?
Sometimes the problem I have is after an encounter or a conversation with someone, then you get caught into this cycle in your head of like reliving it and like imagining how you came off to the other person. It's like after the conversation, you're like, oh, I really screwed that one up. I really screwed that one up. And as I've gotten older too, I find myself having a problem with. I really don't want to offend people anymore as I've gotten older. So, yeah, but trying to look at yourself through someone else's eyes is a very introspective thing to try to do.
Yeah. As humans, we're able to do that in a way we can imagine it. What is that like, utilizing mirrors and that kind of stuff and contemplating, dreaming, whatever kind of state we want to put ourselves in, see ourselves, how are we interacting? And that that can lead people down to some really dark holes, especially if you're able to see it from someone else's eyes that is narcissistic and looking at yourself and you're like, oh, I'm a horrible person, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you have
Well,
to be careful about how you're visualizing yourself.
yeah, you definitely have to be careful about the input from the
Yeah.
source, how you're, analyzing it. I would guess you would say.
Are you using it
Yeah.
to beat yourself down, or are you using it to improve, engage, and do better?
I don't know. I've always had this thing like feedback loop, I guess, on myself where I get like really introspective and I try to understand the way I looked at someone, and then I come up to this like position where like, well, I can't change it. Let's just move on.
Yeah,
And then if I really harmed or offended that person, try to call and apologize and own up to the situation. The only thing I've
yeah,
ever been able to do.
yeah.
So,
And
but
a lot of people go to gurus, therapists, life coaches, whatever else, figure out who am I? What am I? Uh, how do I interact with this thing that's around me in a positive, negative way? Or rework it so that it's in a positive way to make life better, greater, and to figure out where do I fit in this whole picture, this whole puzzle of life.
Yeah.
And because we kind of lose what reality is, lose who we are, where we're going. And that's when a lot of people actually ended up in a mental health institution, and when they really go off the deep end of reality. Their reality shifts, morphs to something that is dark and disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, like trying to interact with like homeless people on my walks in the morning, and I've learned that by, because they're those some of those people are some bad shit crazy, like they're nuts. And part of that is just learning that sometimes they just need to be acknowledged. In some way, you have to acknowledge them. Like, you don't even have to really, give them anything. It's just they want to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Like, so, which was an interesting paradox. It's like,
Yeah.
so I can prevent confrontation by just acknowledging this person when I walk by them, telling them no, not just flat out ignoring them. Which was an interesting revelation. It's like maybe a lot of the problem we have is just not acknowledging the people that are around us.
And what reality they're living in. Because I see Albuquerque is like a lot of other places. It's got a lot of homeless, and they have a lot of mental health, and they also have other. Here it is. I'm just like very close to being in their reality. Yeah, one bad something happens, and I could be there on the street,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very easily. And so my reality could shift in a moment, and there I am, alongside with them and living their reality instead of the reality that I get to live right now. Um,
Well, yeah, when you start looking at yourself through their eyes, of like a homeless person, it's like that's an interesting reality. It's like trying to understand how scared you are always, and how you're trying to always find a safe place, and there's a lot of empathy there too. The problem I have is, and I have to get this off my chest now. So I can understand if you're homeless, I'll help you out. But I'm getting tired of these people like destroying our community because they want to get, like they think something's in a dumpster and they leave a whole pile of crap in front of the dumpster. It's just like, hey, I understand you're on hard times, and I think we should try to help our fellow human beings. But at some point you have to go, well, these people are not trying at all to fit in. So, I don't know.
there are those, and then there are those that they enjoy a life that is uncumbered. They can travel, they can go do whatever they want, yet they do have limitations in the sense of how do they get that food, water, shelter, those basic things. But traveling, they can travel east to west, north to south, and they do. They migrate. There's some migrating people. Others, they just stay in one spot, one area for the rest of their lives. They enjoy that freedom of being outdoors, being solely dependent. They don't have a mortgage or anything else. Others, they got captivated by mind, body, and spirit through um, drugs or whatever else, and that is the reality, and they are struggling to kick it if they're wanting to kick it. And others, if they want to exist in that reality because anything outside of that they can't handle. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with those who are not homeless. You could be extremely rich, or we utilize a lot of things to help us cope with reality of what's going on, how we are perceived. We perceive things around us, and we need to disconnect from reality. That comes from
Yeah.
eating, comes from porn, comes from uh, you're able to pay for and thrive through your drugs, alcohol, whatever else it is. There's so many things that we utilize in order to bend I guess some people bend the reality or break from the reality for just a little bit and come back and hit it again. Working out, going for long walks, playing with a baby girl, right? As a dad,
Hmm.
that kind of breaks
Oh
people
yeah.
from reality, right? Or it shrinks the reality down to one singularity, that time with you and the baby.
Yeah.
And I can see that from uh, looking at different perspectives. Um, and how do I get to live this reality and not screw it up? Because, I've tried to screw it up. Oh, not tried, but I've screwed up a lot of things in my life. I have less time with my kids, and because of working a lot, having other kind of issues and stuff, missed out a lot of time with my kids. I regret now. Back then, my reality was different, and
Yeah.
my choices were different. So when I say things morph and change, and I got that from my brother, that's a whole reality type thing. He talks about life as a circle, kind of not circle, but it's kind of this design that you're coming back down into something that you've already gone through. You're coming up into something new, and you're learning, and it's always a change. There's no stagnation for the most part for people, and you're
Hmm.
continuing to grow into new realities of your life, what it's going to be. Uh, you're now a full-time dad, not a truck driver. It's a different perspective, different reality, different everything. And but you're utilizing the stuff that you have learned along the way, how to navigate, how to keep things moving in organization. Because I have heard you
Right.
talk about all those things.
Oh my god.
So within
I just
realities,
it
you
took me forever,
also
but I got like I
learn
tried
how to
Firefox and
navigate
apparently
things
that doesn't work with this
differently as you get
program.
older.
Chrome does, so I had to download Chrome and it should work. I don't know what's going on. But it
uh,
seems to be working now, so we'll see. I've never had this. I'm
it's
sorry.
just
I'm not used
unusual
to
that
being the one with technical problems all the time. It's usually I'm on top of it. This is very irritating to me.
Is it
I'm
frozen?
sorry. But
hey, but that's
hey,
your reality.
hey, that's right.
That's your reality.
It's
bro.
our reality. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about different things while you were gone.
Yeah, from the personal perspective.
Hold on.
The answer is yes. He's texting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
his
had
cell
to-
phone. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing what you're talking about.
Well,
You're
what I'm trying to lead us into is a top down. Like, let's assume we weren't born with our names, with our backgrounds, with our families. Let's strip all of that away and ask ourselves the question: what is this?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I'm trying to lead to.
Okay.
And I don't have the full answer for that. I think it's something that's worth, one, it's worth asking the question because, one, do you see the same thing that I'm seeing, or am I just crazy?
You're crazy.
No, honestly, I'm good with that. I've made peace with that. So if that's the case, so be it.
But it was...
Here we go.
There's Cory back.
Here we go.
So Collin was just talking about the reason he asks those questions.
Yeah, let me rephrase it real quick. I love the direction you guys took because I think that's how most people think about these things, and they're incredibly valid, and it was worthwhile kind of going down that road. I'm trying to get at a level. So imagine you stripped away your identity, Cory, your social security number, your parents, your background, everything, like everything you were born with into this world, that all the history, all the memories, everything, what are you left with, you know? And then, and I'm not, that's obviously the answer is, well, you're just like a child, right? Like pure conscious awareness, right? Mm-hmm. So I extrapolate that realization for myself because that's what I see for myself, that all humans have that awareness, whether they're aware of it or not. They understand that. Because whenever I bring that up... Yep.
That reminds me of that Harrison Ford movie from like the early 90s where he's a high-priced lawyer and he's going through all this controversy in his life and everything's turning to crap. And then he goes into goes into a convenience store and gets shot and loses a lot of his memory of who he was.
Yeah.
And then he has to go through and relearn who he is, and then he learns he didn't like who he was.
Yeah, it's a classic trope, and it's very prevalent in actor land, by the way, because they're constantly reprogramming themselves as to who they are. So they're very aware, and especially when you're dealing with psychological warfare operations and like how to do mind control on people, it's really important to know how to tap into the base roots of an individual and then kind of leverage that to become a new persona. I'm just, based on what I've read about it, I don't have firsthand knowledge of it. Just like books like, was talking to Cody about this, books like Chaos or, you know, anything about, you know, the MK Ultra programs and that's just what we have access to. You know, we don't know what the other countries have been up to, but it doesn't shock me to think that powers that be would love to figure out a way to manipulate and control populations and herd them into a singular direction. You know, that if I was them, I'd be like, yeah, that's what you do. Like, it's just a function of management. Government literally means governmente, mind control. That's what it means. That's the word. You know, it's the hive mind, control of the mind. And I'm not being anti-government. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's what this is, and not being aware of the control grid around you makes people just give themselves up to authority, which we have seen in clear color. And they give up all their morals, all the things they think they believe in, all the things they think they believe they are, once they're called to attention. And they go, yes, sir, you know? And that was a major wake up, because I knew that was there. I didn't know how deep it went. That literally was everybody that I knew. Not a single person that I knew in my old life until I came into my new life after that was not hoodwinked. I made total new friends, total new acquaintances, and I'm like, because they had a simple awareness that we, the human population, we're under attack.
Yeah, but my observation is you have a lot of knowledge on this stuff, and you take it in real hardcore. It's like it's an obsession for you. Not that it's bad. I mean, I don't think you should be have
Obsession
your
is
head in the
never a
sand.
good thing, especially when you're a parent. You should, you've got to find balance. But I hear what you're saying, and it's a valid criticism. I
No,
try
I
to
mean,
check.
it's
No,
just
I'm serious. I check myself. Like I ask my wife to check me on it all the time. Like it's important to not be consumed. But you're
well, it just
right.
seems
I
like
do. It's hard not to be because it's like a tide drawing you in.
well, it seems you haven't gotten past that point though.
Because
And
it's
I'm not
not
saying you should.
stopped. It's still ongoing. It's
Uh,
and it if anything, it's intensified. It's intensified. It's
gotten more intense.
well. It's not as intense as it was during COVID. That was intense. I've never seen anything like that. I've never even heard of anything like that. Like, but in history, I've never seen an example that you could point to that something like that happened at a global scale. That has never happened. But now it's kind of very subtle, and it's very calculating. It's like a serpent moving around trying to wrap another coil around the hive mind of the population. It's very it's a monster almost. It's an animal that wants to consume, that will look for any opportunity to get its coils around us. And it's very subtle. You either see it or you don't. Like it's one of those things. And I could point to thousands of examples. I could sit here and rant for like a month straight and just draw down articles and things. And I know that sounds crazy, but I
Well,
really could do that.
well, here it is. You talked about, the reality. If you break it down to the simple, it's just the existence, right? People that with dementia and Alzheimer's, they actually get there, not because they choose to. The disease process takes them to that. To if it goes long enough, they go down to the um, infant or the what is that called when the baby's in the belly? So they will go into the fetal position, like they're in the womb of the mother, and that's a reality. But what makes us who we are is all the baggage, all the stuff that we've done in our lives, right? It's all the
Yeah.
life process and what we've read and all that kind of stuff. It opens up more and more reality of what's going on, or closes realities to other things. And so, talking and thinking about what Colin is saying, um, the most basic, we've already been there, but no human being stays there. Yet, if you have Alzheimer's dementia, it takes you back there. And who wants to be back in that kind of um, simple or beginning reality, or the place of just being after you've been what you are now, experienced life, engaging with other people, have felt feelings both positive and negative, want more positive feelings, yet scary, terrifying as reality of what the world is like, and traveling and seeing, experiencing, feeling all that good stuff. It does build who we are, and to move back to that um, that simple reality, it would be kind of uh, terrifying, because we would have to restart again, a new reality, like so many movies and TV shows and all that kind of stuff have done, and refigure out who we are. And we can do that without having to go through all that. We can sit and process with someone and say, hey, is this the reality that I want to have? is this kind of person I want to be? What person do I want to be? What person am I excited about being around? How do I become that person that I'm excited to be around to myself? And you can alter your reality to something else, just like MD Ultra and all these other stuff. It changes that reality. It rewires the brain. I think that's probably one of the key factors in this. Because if you unwire the whole brain and you are just you're just existence, but are you existence?
Are you? I mean, that seems to be the case that we're. It's very difficult to say because, what our actions in the corporeal form that we currently inhabit, our bodies, our essence, our being, like, definitely ripple out throughout time, right? And maybe, I've been constantly asking theologians, pastors, all kinds of people, what is the soul? Now obviously that's a very difficult question, but can you kind of give me some theological bent on the difference maybe between the concept of soul and spirit? I mean, do you know about when they first got rid in Vatican I of the notion of mind, body, and soul and spirit? It used to be a fourfold being of humanity, and they got rid of spirit and turned it, basically kind of transmuted spirit into soul and kind of made it this one etheric thing that wasn't really anything you could drill down on. It's just the mystery that connects humanity to transcendence, is my understanding. I'm not...
Yeah. And it depends on who you're talking to, right? What is that soul?
Well, no, I'm
that
saying
spirit?
based on what the Catholics were trying to argue back then, based on their perception. That's what I'm going off of.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
Or
and
I mean,
they
I'm
have
not
their
Catholic. I'm just
perspective.
saying, and the reason it's important is because all the churches, whether you're Catholic or not, you follow that argumentation whether you realize it or not. You don't have a doctrine of spirit. No church does. They got rid of it. Except for the Orthodox. They didn't. And it's very important.
The Adventists don't either.
I'm talking about everybody. All of them. Because you're all inheriting a tradition from the Catholics, whether you like that or not. You just do.
Oh, yeah.
That's just where this came from. And the Catholics came from the origination of the church. And really, the Catholics are the inheritors of Rome. If you really want to get down to it, like, that's really what it is. It's Rome repackaged. And the Orthodox Church has...
Well,
Go ahead.
What's pre Roman Catholicism?
I mean, you would call it the early church, where they call them the church fathers, It's what you would be known as the Orthodox Church. And I'm not Orthodox either.
What's pre church fathers?
I mean, Christ was the origination point, and then Yeshua, it appears, comes from, and that whole tradition and the people around him seem to come from the Essene tradition.
It's Judaism.
The Essene,
So
Judaism, but Judaism is not a monolith.
What did they think? What did they think that the soul was?
My best description that I've gotten from them is it's like a bag. I don't know if that's right or not, but that, like, a bag, like, it's the thing, it's the vessel, it's the Holy Grail. That was my understanding. And I think that's pretty.
It depends on your.
It's a pretty good explanation. So, but it's not like the thing.
And also,
go ahead.
So when you go down to the word, I think it's noma, stuff like that, which is the Hebrew word that's used when God breathed into Adam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did they translate that word? Is it an entity that comes around, or is it the breath of God, that air, that life? If you go into Adventism, they push that it's the breath of life,
Yeah, it's direct
and
transference from the
it's
divine.
more of a, yeah. And is that a spirit? Um, and that can be debated back and forth. People have seen themselves, which Cody.
How am I? The
They're
only
just
one
hating
tonight?
us tonight. I don't know. This is weird. We're getting okay. Now we got 4 of you. Who do I look at?
Look at both of me. Yeah.
Oh,
Is there 4 of me now? Two
No,
of
there are
me?
2 of you. Sorry, but that's fine. Hey, keep going with what you were saying. That this is you've done more study into
So,
this than I have. So please.
so like Cody's truck driving, where he was able to see outside of his body, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, how does that interact with the whole idea of that it's just the breath? In Seventh-day Adventist world, when you die, the breath of life leaves the body, right? Goes back to God, and then the rest of the body decays and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
You also have those who, because of the Roman Catholic fathers and all that kind of stuff, they believe that there's a spirit that leaves and goes to heaven or to hell, right? Whichever, whatever your life was like, that's where you get to go. And then you have people that see themselves, operating table, truck driving, whatever else, and how does a person understand all these things together? I think even the church fathers, they were still trying to figure it out. Um,
Yeah. No doubt.
because even today, I think a lot of people know they have it all figured out. Judaism, there's those that said, hey, there was life after death. Other people said no. Um, they even cornered Jesus, hey, this one woman, she marries one person and then goes through 7 brothers. Well, who's her husband in heaven, right?
that's a
Um,
good question.
you know, people have questions about heaven. What is it like? Is it a real body? Is it a body that is a spirit without the vessel? Um, Even a guy that I work with, and he is not work with, but he's one of my clients, and he's trying to wrestle with this question too about, is it a spirit? Is it an energy? What is it that happens when death happens or something
Yeah.
happens and you get catapulted out or something, right? What is that? Heaven's supposed to be a real place where we're going to be eating real food, grass, river of life going through that we're going to be able to drink from, tree of life to eat from. We have all these things. And so the question comes out is, you know, and Colin, I don't know if you caught all this. The tree of life in heaven, you eat the real fruit. The leaves are for healing. You got water, and he left. So, what is it? Could it be a
Sorry.
spirit, or it has to be a physical? And when Jesus was interacting, he was always physical. When he uh, met with the disciples, when he is interacted himself within time and space. And so, is it a physical? Is it a metaphysical? I go with the belief, because I haven't been to heaven yet that I know of, that it's a physical, and we will have the ability to interact like we do now, eat, drink the water, have that time with Jesus where he eats the bread and also the Jewish communion type thing, right? The Eucharist. That's going to happen because he said it would. And there's all these other things. So it's like, okay, how do I pull all these things together? And what is heaven reality? What is afterlife reality? Is it person dies, goes to the grave, and waits for God to come? Or is the person goes into the grave, the spirit goes to God, this entity goes to God, is in heaven, and then when Jesus is sent back to this earth, that everybody goes back into their bodies, be resurrected, and then goes back to heaven in this cloud, which talks about in Revelation, and goes back to heaven and is there for 1,000 years, and then comes back. Then God creates this world anew. So there's all these different modes of thought. It depends on which doctrine you come from.
And you're right. I just want to interject a little bit before we get too strong away. I'm not coming from a specific mode of thought. I would say, if I had to pick one, it would be Steiner, to be honest. But that's not really relevant in the sense. But
if I had to shuffle a deck out,
but shut up.
And I was going to come up with possible answers.
Look, I'm saying I try to see things as objectively as one can, and that's going to be done imperfectly. We're not going to figure this all out tonight. I know that. And I know that we're dealing with a bunch of layers of imperfection, but built this up to a point that's aiming us at least, hopefully, in the right direction, right? And that hopefully it's not some limited hangout to corral us into some other, controlled opposition party and I'm not speaking politically, I'm just saying, don't hide your light under a bushel, right? And what is the modern Christian church? It's a bunch of candles under baskets called churches. They do their best, and this is why they love foreign service, because you get to go spread your light outside of the country where it doesn't cause problems internally.
Yeah. But when Jesus was talking about that, it was individualistic and not a church. And we're all supposed to have that shining light to the world as we live, as we engage, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but
and then
when
if
you're a part of a
your ideas is everybody has a basket above them or over them.
I'm saying by when you join an egregore or a system or a corporation or an entity, you've now given your life force, your decision-making ability over to said entity. That's just what it is.
I guess that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe that's the reason I don't fit in with that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm not doing it either. That's why I'm either working for myself or my dad was the next best option. I'm not going to go back and work for these people again. I don't hate them. I understand what happened, but I cannot stand being a part of it anymore. It drives me nuts. I'm autistic about this. I cannot be you cannot make me be a part of your club. I am unclubbable. I don't like it. It's just something. I love people. People are like, you're antisocial. No, I'm not. I love you, dude. I love you more than you love yourself.
And then when it comes down to this whole concept and idea, when we're able to distinguish ourselves from the whole and see where do we fit with God, that also changes us too.
I'm so
it
sorry.
changes that perspective.
I'm gonna have to figure something out tonight, but I'm just gonna have to keep doing this. It'll be a 5 second.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and I keep dropping off, don't we?
I don't. It may be like a general data stream issue that we're not connecting tonight because there's some choke point somewhere. I think that may be a part of the problem.
Why is it? It's very unusual that I'm the stable one.
Well, you're hosting for what it's worth, and you are also the most staticky one of us. And it looks like we're struggling to make a connection. So, if anything, I think it's your fault, by the way. So,
I'll take the blame. I can see all your feet in the buffer, and it all looks good.
okay, all right, cool.
So
Nice.
I have a
But
different window.
But it's like, yeah, there's that drive to be a natural contrarian, which of course I have because I'm the kind of person that would think or say something like this, like a natural contrarian would. But I do authentically love people, and I don't like watching people being hurt and manipulated and controlled into patterns or. And I'm not being a purist about it. Everyone can be stupid and make their own mistakes, but when it's like really malevolent and they're trying to kill people, I really like feel like I'm at war. Like it's hard to turn that war drive off in my head because
But my
I
question
remember
is,
my ancestral instincts that when I'm under attack, I go to war. But I'm smart enough to go, who's actually the enemy here? Well, number one, it's me. Okay, so let's start there, Number two, there really is no enemy. There is no fight, but we can't be stupid. Be as wise as serpents, as gentle as doves, right? Cody, you were about to say something. I interrupted.
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. You just got to ask yourself, what can you do to change it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. And the answer can't be nothing. Like, that can't be the answer.
Well, what if-
that seems stupid.
Yeah, but what if the answer is nothing?
All right, then don't take a shit tomorrow. Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Like, don't do nothing. Like, I fix stuff every day. Like, I'm doing stuff all the time. I'm constantly doing shit. So are you. By the sound of it. So,
Oh, good night, baby.
not that that's shit. That's beauty. That's love. That's perfection right there.
No, what I'm saying is you worry a lot, and it's not.
I'm
about
not worried. I just don't want to be a freaking look, these guys did something that was unbelievable. You cannot do what they did with the modern mindset.
Well, I understand.
That is what really is driving me up a freaking tree. I thought we were way tougher than this, and I'm not talking about let's
You're
get
talking
our
about the
guns and
guys.
go take over the guy. That's not what I'm saying, for God's sake. I'm saying, and I know you're not saying that. I'm just like I'm hearing the good old boy argument in my head. They ever come for me, I'll shoot them down. It's like, dude, you willing to stand up right now and put your life and career on the line because they're lying and killing everybody? Well, I'll wait till the UN blue helmets come. I'm like, all right, well, okay. Good luck with that. I'll see you in the hills. I don't
Except for
know.
the problem is
and
Texas
I'm
doesn't
not
have a
even
lot of
saying
hills.
that's correct. Well, I'm live in the hill country, but you're right. Compared to where you live or where we come from, no. No, nothing
Yeah,
like
mountains.
that. Yeah, we don't have any hollers. Yeah.
Hollers. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? Are you from Carolina? What are you talking about?
From California.
Yeah, but the Owens?
That's part of you there, Scooter.
Oh, you're not. Okay, I keep getting. Oh, the Bakers. That's right. You're the British. That's right. We're the German filth that went off into the hills to breed. Yeah. Anyway, I know that's a bit of a rant. That's kind of where that gives you a bit of a background of where this all started coming from, and then it's like, because this is a war of mind, perception. Do any of you guys have do you have any doubt that you're under attack, on purpose, by entities much higher? And I'm not talking about Satan. He's always on the move. I'm talking about state-sponsored, deliberate operations to diminish and control your livelihood and your family. Directly attacking your health.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Constantly.
So do we just go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is all normal, this is fine. We'll just accept democide.
No, I'm not saying that's.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come at you guys like that. That's my frustration with most people.
Well, with things that are happening, first thing is you have to be knowledgeable what's going on. You have to learn. You have to figure out what the game is that they're playing. Also, you have to figure out how to undo some of that stuff that they're doing, and figure out how to work that out. Because there's things that are going to happen no matter what we say, do. It happens. It lays on us like air lays on everybody. And here it is. You just got to figure out what the game is and how to navigate it yourself. Because you have different people out there that have solutions, right? You have to find those solutions. You have to talk with your family and those people, and those that don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Look, I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm not like I look. I've done all the things you're talking about. I know what you're saying, and it's not general advice because there is zero consensus onto what reality is, which is part of why I brought the question up. Because no one has any consensus on what is actually happening. Everyone has different ideas. It's like, well, you got to go talk and educate and observe, and it's like, fine, fair enough. I've been doing that nonstop every day for about 5 years. I have a pretty decent grasp relative to most people, but still, I'm like, I don't know. Like, this shit could all be like a psyop for all I can tell, just to make us wound up and like wild-eyed and whatever, like, and just and to make us crazy. Like, that's very possible. A lot of people have gone crazy from looking at this too long. I've met them. They're gone.
And then a lot of other people have disconnected themselves. They said no more.
Exactly.
And they disconnected themselves, kind of like the head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, they like, what can I make a solution? What's the solution I can find to help myself? And I've done that. Dr. Artis, he's got some stuff that he says that works and has worked with his family. He's got a big old following. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this. See how it helps me, what it benefits me. And not allow the mania happen into my own mind, into my own heart, and protect it. Because if I can't protect that, how am I going to protect my wife and my kids?
This is our first and final. This is our defense. This is all we got. And it's deeper than that. Our heart, like you said, your mind, your heart, your soul. Keeping that as pure as possible, and to not lose your sense of self. And as a child, you're trained to, not trained, but it's just a natural part of being a kid. You observe other people and you replicate patterns based on your current surroundings, right? And if I were to do that, we'd be in much worse shape than we currently are. Like I've mitigated damage as best I can, talked with all my family, done all that stuff, and I'm not even trying to go here. I'm basically saying I didn't even want to get into this. This is like a whole other separate discussion. I feel, but
you're venting mostly, and you're trying to discover and figure out your path. I understand, and we've all been there.
But here it is. If you were like Cody and I, you would have much different abilities because we're dyslexic. So we're always going to look at things differently. We're going to be looking at how do I solve this thing, and most people will be like doing hey, I observed this, and this is the only way to do it. We talked to Cody, and he's like, yeah, there's like 15 different ways to do this, but there's only one that's actually going to succeed, and do it this way, because he constantly runs his mind on that kind of stuff. So if more people are dyslexic like us, have the dyslexic mindset, I think the world would be a whole lot greater.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Perfect timing. I didn't anticipate that.
Oh, poor
The total shutdown. This is what happens when you go with dyslexic.
Go.
But I think that's what a great thing that we have, Cody.
Well,
We see things from different perspectives, and we're able to be autonomous in a way of our own thoughts and directions.
well, I would I would go along with that because, well, how do you explain it? It's always learning how to overcome all the time.
Yeah.
You're always learning how to coping mechanisms with like not being able to spell a word, not being able to understand the word. You're trying to you're typing out a paragraph and you're trying to figure out, I can't spell this word, but I need to say this. How do I say it without that word? Because I can't. So the coping mechanism.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The coping mechanism that you come up with in our particular interest of being, dyslexic like we are, you learn to see it a lot differently and you structure it and try to figure it all out, and then work through the
Yeah,
problem.
always trying to figure things out.
Steiner called this phenomenon the language of the spirit, in that there's a language outside of what we linguistically use our tongues and symbols to spell out. It's similar to what Jung described as archetypes and patterns. Like, some of the wisest people you meet are people that have never read a book and just worked their whole lives like in the woods, or are craftsmen or gardeners especially, or people that worked on farms. They have this natural just vivancy with the earth, with the natural order of things. And they're very tied to how things work, like from the bottom up. And they don't have to be book read to be highly intellectual people, in the sense that you can go to them for basic wisdom.
Well, the thing I've always thought was, I don't have a formal college education as much as a lot of people do. And the thing I've always thought was amazing is just because you've gone to, I have an associate's degree, but that's about where it stopped. But I don't have a master's or bachelor's. And the thing I've always thought was very annoying is that you don't have a degree, therefore you can't be intelligent. And I had a friend of mine, Jerry Bauer, he's one of the most influential people that was in my life, was a self-taught engineer. He was a certified engineer. And the reason he was so good at what he was doing had nothing to do with book smarts. It had everything to do with common sense. And when you try to look at things through this analytics that they teach you in college, sometimes you get lost in the weeds.
It's almost designed that way. Yeah. No, yeah, you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't see the underlying pattern, the underlying rhythm, the melody that comes from the planet itself. Not just from I'm not being all hippy-dippy here. I'm saying, like, from the natural order. Maybe I am. Fuck you. I'm from the natural order of the universe. We are in the mind of God. It's like, there is a certain beauty to me when I hear those words come out of my mouth, that resonates within me. I'm like, there's something to that this is all like being played out in a very divine way, that even evil has a place in this order of things. And it's just that this time is a very weird time because it's like all the gates of hell and heaven have been opened simultaneously. That's what it feels like to me. And we are in the middle of the biggest Gotterdammerung the world's ever seen.
Do what now? What was
Gotterdammerung?
What the
The
hell
battle of the gods.
Okay.
The Valhalla. It's like when Ragnarok occurs.
No, what's Ragnarok?
The end of the world for the Vikings, basically. Anyway, but
I just was talking about common sense, and he starts digging into his vocabulary.
That is common sense, dude. That goes deep. That shit goes deep. People are
Pulling these
obsessed.
words
You're
out.
Adventist. You guys should know that the mythos of art of the apocalypse is deep in your mythology.
Oh yeah.
There he goes again.
So within the um, applied knowledge, right? We have this new RV trailer, and the person that had it before us, she pulled out the toilet, disconnected it, and put into one that is, um, it doesn't flush, it seals up what you put in there. And so when you're done, I think it seals up like 5 or 6 times, and then you take that and you throw it in the trash. Well, I didn't really understand the concept of this thing, and I hooked the trailer up to a hose from the outside and turned on the water, and water spewing out. And I was like, this isn't good. What's wrong? So kind of figured out one, it was the gray water has no stopper. I mean, it's just flowing right out. And then the other one, because she pulled this toilet out and put a different one in, I didn't get I couldn't conceptualize why we couldn't hook the line for the toilet in that area back up, because it was spraying all over the place, to the toilet, until I pulled it off and I actually saw, how does this thing actually work, right?
Yeah, you couldn't
I
visualize
was
it
like,
until you actually could see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
my wife was trying to do her whatever, and it didn't make sense to me, because with the toilet you can reconnect it, and you don't, if you don't not gonna flush it and stuff, you still can reconnect it, but it's a totally new design toilet for a different purpose. And so when we look at life, um, we are always going to be heading into that unknown, that there's things on the back end of this that we don't know or understand. We can have a grounding of a lot of that. If it's spiritual, the Bible helps us a lot. Other writings helps too, to kind of get this big conception. But yet, until we try to put things together, they're not meeting up, then we have to figure out, okay, why is it not this way? And so when we're looking at the Bible, when we're looking at this time where we have both heaven and hell opening up, and the fight is raging, and it's kind of crazy and stuff, and some of these things don't make sense, we kind of have to figure out, okay, we have to go back to what is these different entities and how do they work, and from that, what's going on to the present, and how do we see what that present is, and how do we interact with it. If we utilize the book of Job, we know that Satan is always against us. We also know that he used to be able to go to God, but there's this idea of, okay, God is not proving himself. His people are proving that he is a benevolent, loving God, and then he has the most for us. And Satan is on the other side saying that his people hate him. If you just if you do these things to them, that they will hate God. And when you have that kind of idea, and then you stick that into what's happening now, okay, so if that's the two separate concepts of what's going on, God is allowing his people to prove how loving and benevolent and he is, and Satan is proving the opposite, and Satan's using all these things to harm or hurt us mentally, emotionally, whatever it is, and God is doing the other, withholding in some places a lot of the harm and hurting. And we look at that and we're like, okay, so there is a real battle for us, you and I, for where we're going to be going eternally, with God or with Satan. And Satan wants us all. He wants us all to be with him. And so we're looking at what's happening presently. We're trying to conceptualize, why doesn't the hose connect to this new toilet. It's because what's happening is different. What's happening is actually greater. And does that make the world spin a little bit further, a little bit faster? Does that mean that the end time is coming quicker? People have been in Seventh-day Adventist world, Baptists. I'm not sure about the Catholics, but a lot of people are saying that, hey, the world may be coming to an end. It seems like time is speeding up. It seems like all these things are happening. And when you look at this concept of Job and the devil and God says that he would shorten the time on this earth, that there's supposed to be all these things in Matthew 24, the wars, rumors of wars, and all that kind of stuff, and you're looking at that, you can say, well, people are crazy, or people are actually showing who they truly are. People are allowing the things that are in their hearts and their minds to show up to the surface. Now we know who they are. And they also know who we are as things are bubbling up to the surface, how we interact, how we engage, because that is more important than all the other things. Because if we allow things to happen in a way that is negative towards Satan, then where we're going to go? If we go the opposite way and trust God, which Job, he had a hard time with it. His wife was left alive to torment him, to say, hey, turn and die and curse God, because, man, this is a horrible life for you and me. But he didn't do it. So we have choices of how we're going to live, how we're going to engage. And he disappears. At my ending was so
Apex.
emotional. My apex, I was there.
Don't worry, I'll have to edit it again.
Okay. Yeah. And then have him watch it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't forget this.
I can't believe we're having this much technical difficulties tonight. And I'm the only stable one here, so.
Yeah. That's a perception of reality for you, buddy. But the flip side is...
I've gotten to notice that, yeah, there's connection issues with the server. So, not my fault.
Okay.
Something's going on here. But
Not Cody's fault either.
Um,
You know what's funny for me? Cody's name is with you, Collin. And Collin, your name was with you're connected with Cody. And there's no picture. I don't know what's going on, but that's funny. But hey, yeah, it's a weird thing. I'll take a picture of that. I'll send that to you in a minute. But
Yeah,
it sounds
no.
like it's a great time to end.
yeah. No, you're right. No, I only have another pack of worms to open up, so yeah, I agree. It's okay.
Oh,
As long
save that
as
for
it's
another
not
time.
about suicide.
No, it's getting
I
late.
have to go
It's
filter.
not suicide. Don't worry. No, I'm not doing that again.
no more
Don't
sex
worry.
starting pistols.
No more. No
Good.
more personal stories, and that wasn't about me, by the way. I'm fine.
Suck start a pistol.
I'm fine. I'm gonna be okay. No, I'm okay.
Good.
No, you're not. But
No, I'm not. but I love God. I love the Lord, and He's been with me. He's never left me, and I know that. I have Him in my heart, and that's why I'll never give up. I just
Well, just remember that. I really wish you would read that book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. It's one of the most revolutionary books I've ever
I know. It's just, look, here's the thing. I'm a nerd, and somebody's got to nerd out and figure out how the hell this whole thing works. And I'm one of those freaks that wants to do it. So,
Well, have you
Needs to do it,
done
yeah.
everything in your power to? It's like they say in that book. When you look at, have you done everything in your power to, you brainstorm and figure out what's the absolute worst outcome that you have control over, and then you go, and if you've done everything in your power to prevent the absolute worst thing that you have power over.
I'm not
That's the
worried
thing.
about my personal life or about my family or about any of us. That's not my. I'm not even worried. It's more of I'm trying to make sense of something that is very complex, and our current language and theology does not account for what we're dealing with. It's good for most people because most people need to just live their lives simply, be good parents, be good householders, yada yada, and that is necessary and good for 99% of the population.
Well, I could tell
A
you
freak.
that I had a very wise friend of mine. It's the rule of stupid. I've told you this one, Corey, right?
Yeah.
The rules of stupid. Have I told you that one, Colin?
I'm sure you have, and I'm sure I forgot.
First rule is don't try to understand stupid. Second rule is don't argue with stupid. Third rule is don't be stupid. So and I have
Where you go?
Fuck you then, I guess. I don't know. Okay, all right.
Are you on all three, two,
All right,
or one?
no, this is great. I love your pearls of wisdom, Cody. That's great. I love it. Thank you. You're keeping me grounded.
what I'm saying is sometimes, like I was talking to my friend Whiskey about 15 years ago, and I was having the same position you were in. And he gave me the rules of stupid. He's like, and even now we'll be talking, and he goes, "Rule number 2, bro. Rule number 2, you're trying to understand stupid."
No, that's what's like. Quite frankly, Cody, that's kind of what stupid people say when they don't understand something, and they're just like, "I just do fuck it, I don't care." And that's honestly, that's a fair point. I actually don't blame them for going down that road because some people just have a wall they hit and they can't go past it. I've blown through that wall, and there's no going past. Like or no going back. Like, I can't go back anymore. So it's like cat's out of the bag now. So if that's a stupid cat bag, fuck it. I'm in for it. So.
Well, no. It always starts out with me and Whiskey when we're having these conversations. Like, why the hell could they do that? These dumbasses can't even. And he's just going nuts, and you're just going.
Oh, that's not my confusion. I understand why people do this. That's not. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so then when you start getting to that point of like, we would be driving down the road.
Look, we have these things called. Look, Corey's got to go, so I don't want to keep hammering the point. I'll stay on with you and yell
Why
at
do
you,
I have to go?
and I'm gonna start. No, you can stay if you want. This is fine. I just don't want to keep you if you got to go. I want because I will yell.
Corey's
at
being
Cody.
entertained. Look at the look.
Okay.
On his,
All right. Here we go. Look, it's Look,
I just watch you guys go at this.
Lucifer is the incarnation of the being that has gained unearned wisdom. Basically, knowledge before it's permissible or it's brought. Like it's basically like the trope of the evil genius. Why is it always an evil genius? Why is it always somebody that just he knows how autistically knows how to control the minds and how people work, and he just controls everything from his hive mind, right? Like that's a classic villain archetype. So Lucifer is the light, the illumination, and we think of these beings as physical entities, and they're spirits. And we still think of spirits as physical entities. Spirits manifest through man. Would you agree with that, Corey?
Yeah.
Like we're the portal?
Manifest through and around.
Yeah.
They can manifest through almost anything.
Yeah, but we're like a major focal point. We're like the diode on a diamond. Or not the diode, the fat, like not the facet, but like that point of contact, that light comes through like a laser beam into this reality. Like we are a manifestation for spirits of what we would call spirits. Like spirits is a loaded term. I don't know the right word. We have the English language to use here. That's the best word we got right now. If you have a better one, I'm down for it. I just don't know what a better one.
Most people would understand that concept.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, but Luciferianism is basically the seeking of knowledge without first having the wisdom. And most wise people are like, hey, kiddo, before you start, picking up rocks, be careful, there's snakes under there. Maybe you're not ready to see that yet. Well, to me, in my, it's like a child in war that's seen their parents blown to bits or has been in bombing raids. And I'm not saying that that's what I've went through, but I'm saying me and my generation and all of you, whether you realize it or not, have gone through a similar traumatic effect. TV for me is way worse than the atom bomb in terms of what the amount of power of perception that these entities got control of. In terms of Americans do not, and I would say the Western world, do not understand anything is real until they see it for themselves. Like a TV. Like if I see it on the TV, it's real.
Except for that. That was like perfect timing.
Yes, it was. Again. Yeah.
I like how he was trying to backpedal out of that, though. Oh, we gotta go, Cory.
I was just saying because of all the issues, maybe we should end it so that, get it through your generative process and
It's been
send
a
it
tough
out because
night.
it's,
Maybe,
yeah.
The first hour was pretty good. This last 20 minutes has been pretty rough. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think when he comes back, we'll go ahead and shut this down.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry. Anyway, real quick,
there
I
he
do
is.
want to hear
okay.
your point on this, that, what people tend to see on the screen is what is real for them. And we've all been infected by this, me included. I'm not sitting here, I'm just saying, like, I can vocalize this and be aware of it. And this has caused a massive... You're not going to maybe see it manifest so clearly now, but give it 20 years. A lot of the population are going to be going through schizophrenic episodes.
What's your basis on that?
My own intuition, my own personal experience. That's all I got. But
I'll
Cory,
be
honestly,
almost 90.
what do you think about that? I'm already seeing it, like, all the time. It's just they don't realize what's happening to them.
Well, the thing I like about this era we're living in is it's a great awakening. And people are now looking at this crazy crap that's going on, and they're just like, I cannot believe I believe this stuff. I mean, I was just reading an article right now, not that I wasn't fully listening, but, ADD moment pops up on my thing. It says, what is it? Bill Maher is according to what this is saying, and I haven't read the whole article, but the headline is Bill Maher leaves Democrat Party. It's like, so I mean, and that guy I watched real time with Bill Maher just because you got to see where the arguments they're going to throw at you.
His audience is not going to tolerate him maintaining this lukewarm position. He's being spewed from the mouth of truth, like, because he has been trying to bring both sides on. But in this environment, because one side is so out of whack and insane,
And
that
he
it's
says
like,
that.
yeah, and he's constantly doing like, well, I'm not with the left, and it's like, but you were like, come on. But people in Austin that I've talked to that know Alex, like Alex Jones and him, they talk whatever, and he's actually like, yeah, they've gone too far. I'm with you guys, but I gotta like let my audience down. That's kind of what's going on. He's doing a ramp down because the tide's turned in a political direction, and he's not going to have a show if he doesn't do it. So,
well, and it was like he was saying he can no longer get. He's having trouble booking guests and all that other stuff. It's because the part of the problem he has is just he can't buy into and believe the crap that they're spewing anymore.
Yeah, it's absurd. It literally is like This is like where people are like, well, it's a matter of opinion. No, it's not. At a certain point, it's like it's gotten ridiculous. I mean, it's like it's really annoying. But have you ever watched or seen like they came out with Lady Baller? That stupid, horrible movie
No.
by Daily Wire. You should go watch the trailer. It's
Oh,
the
the
most
Lady
atrocious
Ballers?
piece of crap I've ever seen, and it's a terrible movie. But the point is, they
Oh,
felt
yeah, basically.
they are so the hammer point. They've been nailing this home. Have you noticed on the right that of all the horrible things that have happened to us, men and women's sports. That's what their PR groups are telling them resonates the most with Americans. Why? Because we're a bunch of, let's go to the sports. You know, that's all we think about is sports. So it's like, men and women, sports, bad. And that's literally where we're at as a culture. And that's like, and it's working. It works.
Well, it is an interesting paradox that when you live in, that you ask these feminists and these ultra left-wing progressives what a woman is, and that was another documentary, the Daily Water. What is a woman?
Daily Wire.
That was,
no, and that one was actually pretty good. That was a pretty good
but
deal. Yeah,
I've left the Daily Wire because it's like
it's stupid. It's for midwits at best. Like it's silly midwit shit. It's ridiculous. But the point is it's not about that content. It's more about where the minds of people are, and it's like people are getting to a point where like there has been such the schism that's been created in the dualistic consciousness of America and the West has become so. What do you say when cancer it's metastasized to a point where one side is growing and the other side, Jesus Christ.
Well,
it's about
there it went again.
time. 6 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, when you can see all these things happening and stuff, and it's like anything else that we deal with, we can either recreate a new reality, we can go deep into what we think the reality should be, or alter it, just kind of block things off, or we lose the total perspective of everything, and psychologists, psychiatrists can't put us back together. We are lost in our minds and we just can't cope with anything. And so you have all these different options that are before us. We've seen this with veterans, with people that have PTSD. We see those who were actually injured and they don't have PTSD. Then you have people that were never injured that have PTSD. And so you're like, okay, what actually causes it and stuff like that? And it's all up here. It's all up here. And what has touched this up here? And we're going to have to figure out each individually how to not allow things to affect this up here, be able to move forward in life and not lose total perspective of who we are. Or there's people that they have blocked out and they said, oh, this is the only way because it's been fed to me. I have to live that reality because it's comfortable, instead of being the reality of, I think everybody's lying. Until I understand which one is telling the truth, I just take everybody as a liar until it's proven otherwise. And it doesn't matter what other people think. I will listen, I will engage, but in reality, I will come up with my own. I will be my own person, and if it goes against the grain of the thought that I'm with, so be it. If it's going the similar path, as well, it seems like that's what's the truth is for now, because they can always change. And I like that about Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, and you got so many others that people are like, well, you're against this person or that person. Well, it's like, no, they're their own person. they are seeing things and they're doing their reading, they're doing their connection with other people. Like, this is what I think it is, whether you agree or not. But they're keeping their minds from going down to the point where it's mush or they lose everything, all perspective, and they have that PTSD and they crash. That only maybe even psychiatrists and psychologists and all those can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again, and they just go out life that way. So it's up here. It's your mind. You allow things to denigrate it. There you go. Welcome back, Colin. Good to see you again.
Yeah, sorry. No, that was a good
It's
way
good to
to
have
sign
you.
off, honestly. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And we're all back together.
We're big happy.
The three C's. Yeah.
And we're not the Civil Conservation Corps.
We're not.
No.
Well, thanks for having
But,
us. Thanks for having me. Great dialogue. Thanks for allowing us
it
to
was
duck
very
in and out at different times.
Except for me. I was the only one that flew.
Yeah, maybe I'll host next time. We'll see how that works. So
If I would have known that, I wouldn't have renewed the subscription. You could pay for it.
I'm down. Yeah, sure. I'll do it.
No, I don't care. Man, damn. He could
Give him the credit card, man. Cody, don't reject that credit card. Come on.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I have PayPal. I don't care. I'm good.
Really?
I'm indiscriminate. I even can take Bitcoin now. So,
Stay on once we sign off for a minute, Corey, if you don't mind. Just I want to
Yeah.
plant some seeds for next time.
Well, it's great to
All right,
spend
guys.
time with you guys.
I think that on that note, with our technical difficulties, we won't go the full 2 hours tonight. And we're going to call it now. And if you got this far, we really appreciate it. And I hope you find this entertaining, because I definitely found it pretty entertaining, thought-provoking. And I wanted to thank Colin and Corey for joining me on this little adventure.
And
Down
Corey,
another
where
rabbit
can
hole or
everyone find
three.
you?
Bald Advisor. And you can find me there on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on all three of those. And I got my own website if you want to check that out, baldadvisor.com. And if you need some help, life coaching, yeah, I got lots, because people that are bald have a little bit of better perspective. That's
I'm
my
almost to that
perspective.
point where I need some advice.
Shave.
Yeah.
Just shave. Embrace it.
Yes. Yes. Zip it.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. And on that note, thanks.
Bye.